Okay, let's talk about using Google Slides to build your art history presentation that you will eventually present online via um, Zoom conferencing. Okay, so you're going to click on this icon up here, which is going to open your various Google related items. I'm going to click on Slides. That's going to open this up. You're then going to see all the, if you have created any presentations, which many of you I think have for other classes. So hopefully this is just a review. Um, and because this is really just the basic stuff to lay out the presentation and get it ready. So I'm just gonna, I've got the finished one right here, but I'll show you some of the makings of it first, some of the basics. So we're gonna open a blank presentation, just clicked on that right there saying blank. That's gonna open up. And so what you're gonna do here is I'm actually gonna select things. Here's your kind of your working window, and your slides will appear over here. So I'm going to get rid of this title piece. I just clicked on the outside box, and I kind of like this size font. There's so many things you can change and stuff, but this is just a real simple way to do it. So I got rid of it using um, uh, the selecting the box around it. So anyway, I'm going to write down, this presentation is going to be about myself. So I'm going to say artist is Mr. Austin Zimmer. Okay, so that's just a text box, okay? And then I went out to the internet, and I'm just going to grab a couple of pictures and some text that I can incorporate into my presentation. So I do have up here, I've got a couple things open. I've got my website, personal website for Zimmer Clayworks, with a bunch of images. Here's a picture I'm going to use of a portrait of myself in front of my kiln in Mystic. Here's a booth that I sell my work at, mainly during the summer months. Um, Here's my kiln and my little outdoor studio. Um, and so there's a lot of information here with pictures and everything else. You can Google search your artist and you'll find perhaps multiple websites where you can grab pictures and information. So what I've done here is I've grabbed various pictures. I actually have them arranged over here, but I can just drag things right off. I'm going to put it right onto my desktop here. So I've got that image, which actually I have right there. Actually, it looks like a different view of the same piece. But I've got this picture here. It's going to be my first one, and I've just dragged it. Off onto my desktop. You can certainly go do a right click and say save image as, and it'll put it into a particular folder that you want. So there's two different, multiple ways of getting the pictures off the websites and getting them ready to insert into your presentation. So the other one I have is a personal portfolio website that I built with Weebly. These are all linked uh, in a variety of different ways online. But anyway, this one has more of my sculptural work. And so I wanted to have access to some of that as well. This is actually my studio in graduate school. And here's a really fun picture of me. It's like crazy thin, and I had a show in a museum in Cranbrook at Cranbrook Academy of Art in Detroit. And this was a huge piece I put up on the wall. Anyway, I digress. Um, So I've got multiple sites that I'm dragging information, and putting it on my desktop here. Oh, let me grab that picture too. Um, so, okay. So then we're going to go back to our slides because we have enough stuff. I will tell you that I copied some text off of one of those two sites and I put it into a Word document, which is right here on the side. So I've got various things I'm going to put in my presentation. I kind of arranged them on the desktop in order of the way I was going to use them, but you don't have to do that. I like having them on the desktop in thumbnails just so I can see the images really easily instead of trying to guess what file names were and stuff. So anyway, it'd be nice on my first page to have a picture of myself. And you are picking an artist that is on the list. I just happen to know a lot about this one. And so I thought I'd do that. So I've got a picture of myself. I now need to say insert, slide and new slide. It gives me a second one. Again, I'm going to get rid of these you just click on the blue border part and it'll go away. Because basically now I think would be good to put some text in to tell a little bit of background information about the person. I opened up a Word document and I've got a bunch of text here. I'm going to copy that. I can close that now and I can come back in and I can paste it. So Command V puts it in there. And if this window were bigger, your text would be bigger. I was just trying to, maybe that's a little bit better. But when you see the actual presentation, you'll be able to read this a lot easier. Okay, so then we're going to add another slide, and you can see there's a quick way of doing that. A quick start or hotkey is what they call it. Control M to creating a new slide. But I'm just going to, this is not easier, but I think it's simpler to follow to how do you create a new slide and how do you insert various things. And so I'm going to go there and I'm going to stay away from those hotkey commands. All right. So I'm creating another new slide, pops in. So now I've introduced the person, I've told them a little bit of background information, and now I'm going to say, again, I'm going to get rid of that title box, and here I'm in a text box. I'm going to say Mr. Zimmer's functional pottery. Okay. And I'm going to shrink that down so, and you'll see why here in a sec, because I want to be able to move that text. So now I just go to the edges and I can drag it around. So I'm going to put that up there in the corner. I'm then going to grab some of my pictures of my functional work. And I'm going to pull that in and maybe increase that. If you go right to the edge, you can pull it out by proportion. I think if you pull it this way, see, if you pull it this way, it stretches the image out. So that's not good. Things will get really distorted. And then I'll grab another one of them. This is a big bowl, porcelain bowl. And you could put text underneath and saying what various things are. I also will tell you that I like to, let me just put in a new slide, slide insert. I like to have individual slides where it's just a plain background. See, hang on a minute, let me fit that into the slide. These are a whole bunch of platters that I made and they're drying out in the sun on my deck. And so I don't have to get rid of this other stuff. You'll see when I deliver the presentation, that text doesn't actually show up. So I can just keep building new slide, and so now though I want to go back to this, and I'm going to grab this text box and I'm going to Command C it So you know what that does. It copies it. Because down on this slide, let me just get rid of some of these things so they're not distracting. I'm going to paste that. So that's just so that the text box is the same. So instead of functional pottery, I'm going to say my sculpture, Mr. Zimmer's sculpture work. Okay. And then I'm going to just grab a couple pictures of the sculptural work. Pop it in. This piece, I love this piece. Made back in grad school, and actually while you were away on Winterim, I made a smaller version, and you'll be able to see that whenever we get back to school, hopefully sometime. And here's a really cool chair that I built to scale, and it sits in my front yard in Mystic. It has a black crow on it, and it's a student chair. It's just really cool. I love that piece. Okay, and then I'm going to end it. So it's in select new slide, and I'm going to put this one of me at the museum. Actually, no, I think I'm going to go with the slide of my booth where I sell my work in the summertime. And yeah, and then I'm going to just put one more in that just says the end of the presentation. And let me just grab that. And whoops. Yeah, and I'm still making that smaller. Whoops, having a hard time grabbing it. There we go. And so I'm just going to move that little guy into the middle of the screen. Now some of the other things, I'm done. That's cool. And scrolling through the slides there actually with just the up and down arrows on my mouse. So then you might want to put some cool transitions in between your slides. There's tons and tons of options here, but I'm just trying to give you the real basics on how to do the presentation. So, and save it properly. But one of the last things I think would be cool is, see, it says no transitions. And we're going to say, I'm going to just say dissolve. I'm sure, I guess there's a way of playing it to see, yeah, to see how that works. And so I like that one. I'm going to say that, and I'm going to say apply to all slides right here. Okay, so you can pick the slide progression the way you'd like it. So then I'm going to give my presentation a title right here, up here in the corner. There's no way to like say file, save as, or anything else, because when you're working on Google, it saves it automatically as you go. So it's kind of cool. You can't lose your work. You can just get right back to it. But to give the file or to give the presentation a name, you click on the title up here in the upper left corner, and I'm going to say Mr. Zimmer. Actually, I'm going to say artist colon Mr. Zimmer. Anyway, not a big deal. So I'm clicking off of that, and then if you click on this icon right here, it just kind of takes you back to your Google area, so you can see my one that we just built, and then with the one that we that I built before, which is very, very similar. Okay, well, that's about it. When it comes time to work the presentation into your Zoom discussion, I have another video about that. And so it's, again, pretty simple once you've done it a few times. So I really hope that's helpful. And I look forward to talking with you and seeing you online. Take care. Be safe. Bye-bye.